Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. At our recent equinox ceremony, we had a Bibliomancy that produced the passage from the Book of the Law, chapter 1, verse 26. Then saith the prophet and slave of the beauteous one, Who am I, and what shall be the sign? So she answered him, bending down, a lambent flame of blue, all touching, all penetrant, her lovely hands upon the black earth, and her lithe body arched for love, and her soft feet not hurting the little flowers. Thou knowest. And the sign shall be my ecstasy, the consciousness of the continuity of existence, the omnipresence of my body. I had intended to do a little brief talk, as I've been trying to get into the habit of doing after each of our equinox and solstice ceremonies, just to sort of elaborate maybe a little on the particular passage that's chosen in the Bibliomancy. But in this case, I hadn't actually done that, so I thought instead maybe I'd send a little video out just to comment thereupon a little bit and be a center of pestilence, as it were. So, this passage is a sort of adoration from Crowley the prophet as he's receiving the Book of the Law from Iwaz, who's dictating it apparently in the corner of the room. The passage itself may seem pretty self-explanatory, I guess, in many ways, but the thing that I wanted to draw attention to is Crowley asks, Who am I, and what shall be the sign? And something in the back of my mind always thinks, well, of course, Crowley's first concern when he injects himself into this text is, so, who am I and why am I important? Tell me about myself. I mean, he's already been sort of referred to as the prophet, the prince, priest, the beast, and so on. But in this case, he wants to know more. I'm not exactly sure why he's asking, who am I? Unless he's asking, what relevance do I have, or why am I important, or whatnot, along those lines. The answer, after a brief description of Nuit in her arching posture that brings to mind a very sort of seductive and erotic kind of image, her response is, Thou knowest. And then she goes on to expound upon the nature of the sign, which will be her ecstasy. So the idea that thou knowest could just be as simple as you already know. But it could also be, when we look at that and compare it to chapter 2, Hadith will say many things concerning knowledge. So that's kind of a fun way to build on the idea. Hadith says things like, O prophet, I see thee hate the hand and the pen, but I am stronger, because of me in thee, which thou knewest not. For why? Because thou wast me, and the knower. So that, to me, connects things up in a sense that Crowley asks, who am I? And Nuit says, thou knowest. Now that could be taken as, well, you already know, but it could also be taken as, you are the one who does the knowing, and therefore you are in the role of Hadith, the knower. It seems as though the state of being Hadith is not necessarily a given just by nature of the fact that we all have Hadith burning at our core. But there's a certain state of mind, or a certain condition in which Hadith is in full expression. It seems to be the implication from passages like, Begone, ye mockers, for though you laugh in my honor, ye shall laugh not long. Then when you are sad, know that I have forsaken you. Or, dost thou fail? Art thou sorry? Is fear in thine heart? Where I am, these are not. So this simple little phrase might produce further meditations and ideas that come to mind. So this is one of the very few phrases as well that were corrected in the Book of the Law. A couple of them were corrected by Rose Kelly. I think this one is actually done in the hand of the beast, in Crowley's hand, if I'm not mistaken. It looks very much like it to me. But the original passage reads, "And the sign shall be my ecstasy, the consciousness of the continuity of existence, the unfragmentary, non-atomic fact of my universality." And Crowley describes himself as essentially balking at this, what he saw as a very clunky sort of wording. So almost dismissively, Aiwaz says, "Write this in whiter words and move on." So the phrase, "the unfragmentary, non-atomic fact of my universality," was replaced with "the omnipresence of my body." And in the manuscript, we also have a little phrase, "done later as above." It's kind of a nice touch to be able to look back at the manuscript copy and see what was changed, because only a few spots were actually changed in this case. So how does this bibliomancy passage relate to us in an oracular fashion? How can we gain something from this? For myself, I feel like it's a reminder of maintaining focus on Nuit as the goal, in a sense. So ever to me, always to place the focus in the proper place. And the sign shall be my ecstasy, the consciousness of the continuity of existence, the omnipresence of my body. It also reminds us of our place, thou knowest. You can remind yourself as the knower, as Hadit, who goes and who is not of those things of sadness and sorrow. That can be a healthy thing to remind ourselves about, especially when we get caught up in anxieties of ordinary life. So a happy equinox to everyone. I wish you all the best for the coming quarter, and may you be granted the accomplishment of your true will. Love is the law, love under will.